Big mistake. I made a mistake with a tirzepatide compound. Hi friends, I'm Elizabeth, Countess of Shopping. We're going to talk on today's episode the mistake that I made and how it can help you if you're on Mounjaro weight loss, ZEPBOUND weight loss, and for me that was my journey until the Mounjaro shortage hit, the ZEPBOUND shortage hit, and now I am on a compound of tirzepatide, the active ingredient in Mounjaro, and on ZEPBOUND. I've lost over 88 pounds the last 16 months of taking a GLP-1 medication, and my heart's desire is to be on Mounjaro, and my heart's desire is to be on ZEPBOUND, but because of each subsequent shortage over the last 16 months, things rapidly change and have been changing in the GLP-1 community, which is why I'm now on a compound. Now, if you saw my last video or 2 videos ago, down in the playlist, I talk about how I got the first, before my tirzepatide shot, the first 24 hours of taking that compound, the Mounjaro compound and ZEPBOUND compound. And now it's been, how many days has it been? A couple of days since I've taken it. And I got a flood of questions, and I want to go through and answer some of them because my big mistake was was a misunderstanding in terms of dosage. I was on 15 milligrams of Mounjaro, and then 15 milligrams of ZEPBOUND because of the Mounjaro shortage, and then because of the ZEPBOUND shortage. But at 15 milligrams is my dose, highest dose out of the Eli Lilly, Mounjaro, and ZEPBOUND. And so naturally just transitioned over to whatever the equivalent of that was with the compound. Now, my compound pharmacy, I use Join Fridays, use the discount code QUEEN. I'll link it down in the description link below. They prescribe, and the reason why, one of the many reasons why I love them so much is they prescribe both brand names and also compounds for GLP-1 chronic obesity management. And so I love them because it's been very easy to pivot during this shortage over and to pivot over. I'm hoping, side note, to get on Wegovy because my insurance covers that, but there's a Wegovy shortage. So not going down that pike. But so what I ended up getting, this is a picture of the compound in which I received a couple days ago when I got my compound packaging from Red Rock. Red Rock is my compound pharmacy. I absolutely love them, love the packaging, love the communication. I just called them to talk with them and have emailed them. They have been wonderful, exceptional. I've been very impressed. And the one that I'm using is based out of Utah. I live in Virginia. I do know that if you're using Join Fridays, it depends on what state you live in, and that can vary with your compound pharmacy. Okay, so here's what I got, and this is where the confusion and the big mistake was. When I first said in my last video about compounds, about how I got in my compound package, I was taking from my original Mounjaro 15 milligrams, ZEPBOUND 15 milligrams, was taking the compound 75 units. 75 units on there. Many of you were on Mounjaro 7.5 milligrams or ZEPBOUND 7.5 milligrams for your chronic obesity management. You could not get that, so you switched over to the compound like I did. We've all kind of migrated it around as we've been trying to navigate because this has been life-changing medication for all of us. Again, my heart's desire is to stay on a brand name. I did not want to go the compound route. If you go back in my previous videos, over the last 16 months, for many of those months, I poo-pooed compounds. But this is where we are with the shortage, knowing that for Eli Lilly said in their Q1 2024 investor call that they do not anticipate shortages to let up until 2025. I'm filming this in May of 2024. That is 7 months at least, actually more than that, 8 months from now, at least, if not more, depending on when in 2025 that is. So for the next 8 months, I'm not going to be Hunger Games battling to try. Like I haven't been able to get my prescription filled for at least, it's a month overdue, or a month, it's been weeks and weeks and weeks until I can fill it. So that's why I switched, to be perfectly clear on that. When I made the video saying that I got this with my dosage, it was 75 units. Many of you who are taking Mounjaro 7.5 or ZEPBOUND 7.5 said, Elizabeth, I am also taking 75 units. You have double the dose I do. Why am I taking 75 units and you're taking 75 units when you were at 15 milligrams and I'm at 7.5 milligrams? You follow me? Basically, I'm on double the dose of 7.5 milligram folks who were on ZEPBOUND or were on Mounjaro, which was very confusing, alarming, and I know I have been sweating. I haven't sweated this much in a long time as a result of this. But this was the instructions I had. The Count, my hot husband, is not only hot, he's a brilliant man. He's much smarter than I am. I had him reread these directions with me. We did it for at least an hour, over and over and over, because I'm like, why am I not taking two? Because I had read on the Reddit threads 275 units. And I'm like, why am I only taking one? Well, the answer of which I got was, and this is why if it freaked you out, I apologize for that. The information from Red Rock when I called pharmacy said that that simply means that there's just a different concentration of it. So my brothers and sisters who are on 7.5 milligrams were of ZEPBOUND or Mounjaro, your concentration is different than my concentration on ZEPBOUND, the equivalent to ZEPBOUND 15 milligrams and Mounjaro 15 milligrams. So mine was, and I'm quoting from the gentleman that I spoke with from Red Rocks from my phone call today on May 17th, 2024, to cite my source. From that phone call, it was 20 milligrams, and I was writing this down quickly, but this is the gist of it, was 20 milligrams per milliliter for me. And then for folks who are on 7.5 milligrams of ZEPBOUND and Mounjaro, they have 10 milligrams per milliliter, meaning my concentration is different than yours. That's why. So 7.5 folks are on 10 mgs per milligram, and I'm on 20 mgs, which is why I'm taking the 75 units and why other people who are on the 7.5 are taking 75 units, which is very confusing. And as I shared in the last video, this whole thing was confusing. Like, it's just nerve-wracking, confusing, and trying to read these and figure it out. But here, that's what it says: 75 units, the 15 milligrams subcutaneously every week. So then got that resolved, was messaging back and forth with my friends who are on the 7.5 milligrams, and they're freaking out. They're like, am I over medicating myself? And then I'm freaking out because I'm thinking, am I under medicating myself? Should I be taking 2 of those syringes? Because in my pack, I only got 6 needles. And I'm like, why didn't I get 8 needles? Like, if I'm supposed to be taking 2, which is what my husband had said. He's like, they would have given you the right number of needles. So when I called with Red Rock, they had said that. They also had said on there that there's twice as much in there. And then I asked him about taking, because while I had him on the phone, I was like, I want to ask about appetite suppression, because this in my free group, which I'll link down in the description link below, as is, by the way, my Amazon Mounjaro shopping list, ZEPBOUND shopping list. If you're just starting, you're like, I don't know what to get. There's a bunch of stuff that I love. You don't have to buy anything to be on these GLP-1 medications, but personally for me, I would rather hack and get ahead by purchasing stuff to save myself a ton of time later on down the pike. That's me, you do you. So that shopping list is down below. But with that, I asked him while I was on the phone, hey, can I split dose? Meaning I'm taking the 75 units, so I'm taking 75 here. Can I take the syringe and do 30 on day 1, and then like 3 or 4 days later, so what would that be, day 4, day 5, take 35 units, or take 35, since I'm taking 75 units, you follow the math, or do 32.5 twice, basically, on day 1 and if I did it 3 days later, day 4, and then split dose that. You following what I'm trying to do here? Because people have said, in my group and on the Google internet, which I don't like, again, you guys know I am scientifically based. I want to cite my sources. I want to make sure that the information I require and demanded out of myself, which is why I'm making this follow-up video, is accurate. And if there's something that is confusing, I want to make it crystal clear, like glass. So I asked him, can I split dose that? Is that possible? And he said as a pharmacist, and he says, and I love that he said this too, by the way. He said, this is coming from a pharmacist's perspective. He is like, you need to talk to your provider, which I really appreciate that too. That's a brilliant answer. He said, from the pharmacy end, from a pharmacist end, it's fine. He goes, we only gave you 4 syringes though, so you're gonna need some extra syringes. You get 2 extra syringes in your package, which is why I got 6 total, if that explains it. You're gonna get you're only gonna have 2 extras. So you're gonna take your extra syringes, so you'll need to purchase other syringes on there. And I'm reading my notes is what I'm looking down at. And he said that because of people's different people metabolize differently by day 5 and day 6 than other people, that may help with appetite suppression. And from a pharmacy perspective, that is good, but you do need to let your provider know. And so I going to ask my provider because my appetite suppression, I've had, by the way, same exact side effects, same feelings, same, like I literally intentionally had the count do my compound on the back of my arm, specifically so I would feel the same, like specifically so I would feel the same side effects, right? Because for me, my thigh is different than my stomach, and the back of my arm has the most appetite suppression and the most side effects. So I had been having with ZEPBOUND and Mounjaro 15 milligrams, I felt very nauseous, like I wanted to yak, and I had that again this time. So that's been the same. Appetite suppression has basically been the same, but across the board, this didn't just happen with taking the compound. Across the board, I have had less and less and less appetite suppression. It stinks. I wish I had the same appetite suppression I had the very beginning 16 months ago. That was a gift. That was fabulous. And I want to encourage you, if you're having that gift, take advantage of it, work on your eating habits, work on a healthy relationship with food, changing physical activity to create these habits to propel you in case, like what has happened to me, my appetite suppression has been jacked. It's coming back, meaning I'm hungrier, I'm eating more. And so I have been trying to work to eat in a calorie deficit with this and eating high protein, 100 to 120 grams, which helps. Yesterday, I did not eat my protein and I was very, very hungry. Why was I very hungry? Probably because I didn't eat my protein amounts. Like I ate like 60 grams. I didn't track either. Anyways, some days we just have those days. That was one of those days. That was my own fault, though. I accept ownership and responsibility for that today too, which today after this, I'm so excited. I have my fish is marinating. I'm going to grill up some beautiful fish. I'm very excited about that. So one thing I do want to say that the pharmacist said that I want to clarify, taking a right-hand turn about the compound, it does in fact say right here on my compound, 20 mgs per milliliter. That is for my essentially my 15 milligram dose for ZEPBOUND Mounjaro. That's what it's saying here on the compound, which is why my sweet friends who are on 7.5 milligrams of ZEPBOUND Mounjaro were confused, because theirs, I'm sure if they looked at their little compound vial, their compound vial is going to say at that part right there 10 mgs, 10 milligrams per milliliter. But it was only written on the vial and not on the baggie. Is it on the baggie? No. So it says, here's the baggie where it says it's cut off partially 60. It looks like my husband's like MA, and I'm like, no, that's MG. It's just cut off. And then /3 milliliters at the top right in here. But it was on the actual vial itself where it says the 20 mgs per ml. It's confusing. If you're confused, yes, this is confusing. This is confusing, but let's go back into a point of gratitude of thank goodness for these medications. Thank goodness that there's solutions. Thank goodness that there's reputable compound pharmacies. I trust Red Rock. I know that there's a lot of debate out there. I have had nothing but an amazing experience so far. I know many of you have said to me, check it out in a few weeks and come back to us and let's see how you feel. Great. I'm going to continue to lose weight. I know that I'm going to lose 90 pounds. I don't know when, but my 100-pound weight loss goal is still intact. I have the tools and skills. If I'm having, let me put that liquid gold down. Get very weirded out about these needles. If I'm having the same side effects of nausea and appetite suppression, relatively speaking, that I was on ZEPBOUND and on Mounjaro, I'm a happy clam. It's doing its thing. The GLP-1 is GLP-1ing. Like, we're good. I'm curious, and I am going to go ask Join Fridays. And as all of this, I am not a medical provider. Always talk to your own healthcare provider, talk to your own pharmacist, talk to your own. This is my experience, strength, and hope, never to be misinterpreted as medical advice or anything else other than this is what's happening for me and sharing it to a friend, talking to a friend, not medical advice. So you do you, I'll do me. I'm going to ask Join Fridays about this splitting of dose. I'm very curious about that with the appetite suppression. Now, some people have told me, they have said that they have started all along on their journey doing appetite suppression stuff. I have not. I've been on this game now for 16 months. So this will be a whole new testing factor for me that I'm very curious to try, because I have been on 15 milligrams for months and months and months and months now, with the 15 milligrams for Mounjaro and then 15 milligrams for ZEPBOUND and now the compound. So, and again, it's not even a first full week. I took that, I took it on Monday. It's now Friday when I'm filming this. So it's Monday to Tuesday, Tuesday to Wednesday, Wednesday to Thursday, Thursday to Friday. It's almost the time in which I took it. So it's almost been a full 4 days, to give context, right? Now, one of the things is if I took, just for easy math, I don't like doing it for, I'm taking 75 units. If I half that, that's 32.5 units. I don't know how to do a 0.5 on here. I'm not that smart. So, I mean, I am that smart, but I'm not that smart. So I'm just going to do 30. If I can, I'll ask Join Fridays. Can I do 30 units day 1 and 35 units day 5? Is that possible? Or 35 units on day 1 and 30 units on day 5? I'm going to ask and clarify. And I'm going to follow directions in which they tell me. Because I'm going to talk to my own healthcare provider. But with that, it's less of a dose. Does that make sense too? So that also has me concerned because I was taking 75 units essentially. And so on that first day 1, day 2, I'm going to be taking half of it. So what is my body gonna do? Will it help with the appetite suppression? Will I completely screw myself for that week? I don't know. I don't know. I am kind of worried about that too. So part of me is like, maybe I just won't do the split dosing thing. The medication is meant to be taken per Eli Lilly, the way that they have set out, which is once a week, right? Like, and that in that sense, this is where I go pros and cons on these too, of talking to your own healthcare provider about it. That Eli Lilly tells us once a week for the Mounjaro and ZEPBOUND pens. So, but this is the compound. I don't know. I don't have any of the answers. All I do know is I wish I could just take Eli Lilly's brand name. I wish I could. I wish I could just stay on that. But with the shortage, knowing that it's going to be another at least 8 months of this, I am not going to stress myself out, raise my blood pressure, get extra gray hairs, like all of this running around. It was literally 1 week, took me 15 hours. And Eli Lilly, if you're watching, that stinks. Like as a patient, that stinks. And Eli Lilly tells us, and they told me when I was on the Oprah show, because that was my question, when I was on Oprah and I was talking with Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk, I said, hey, about the shortage, can we take compounds? And they said, no, rightfully so, right? My heart's desire is to stick with their medication, but studies show 70% of people gain back GLP-1 weight. It was for a Wegovy study that was done, and that 70% of people gain it back within a year of not taking GLP-1 medication. It was semaglutide, Wegovy, and Ozempic for that test. Same thing basically, GLP-1 medication. And so why would I want to stop if the results are I'm going to gain the weight back and go back? I'm missing the GLP-1 hormone. Why would I want to go back to that when I could take a compound for me, for my research? And that's where I want to be very clear of like what's mine and what's yours. For my research and my due diligence, you need to do your own research and your own due diligence. For my research and due diligence, they're very reputable. Red Rock is reputable. I'm happy with the way the packaging came, the communication, the medication itself, the compound, all of it. Like it's been a very positive experience. I know different people have different experiences, and I don't want to invalidate those though, people who have not had great experiences. But across the board in GLP-1 communities, I mean, people in my group have told me how their Mounjaro pens have malfunctioned and ZEPBOUND pens have malfunctioned too. So across the board, people are going to have different experiences. But for me, the risk outweighed the reward. Doing my due diligence, I felt comfortable taking this path with a compound. That didn't take away my nerves, but I felt comfortable enough to take it, right? And so I know it's coming from Red Rock. Whereas if it was like, I use this example all the time. There's an IV drip place near me. That's not what it's called, but it's one of those places of where they're doing semaglutide. I don't know if that person has any sort of medical degree, any sort of like, I want somebody who has I have no medical background. And so the IV drip near the Starbucks, the drive-through Starbucks that's offering semaglutide for this crazy price, I would question that. And that for me would make red flags with compounding pharmacies. Now, so people, there's pros and there's arguments to both sides of this, and many of you have also had very fabulous experiences of going, say, to a place, a facility next to your grocery store or wherever to get your semaglutide or tirzepatide compound. So for my tirzepatide compound, I am happy. I feel like I have cleared up now the miscommunication. It was simply more concentration, double the concentration for my 15 milligrams versus your 7.5 milligrams. And if you watch that video of my first 24 hours, my first day 1 of taking a tirzepatide compound shot, hopefully this clears it up. It did for me because I was nervous. But then I was also slightly excited. I was like, maybe I do get to take another 75 unit injection. I don't. They're like, no, you've taken it for the week. So my next shot would then be on Monday subsequently. So we've done a real Tour de France here. That was my mistake. I'm learning right along with you. I felt like it was so much easier with the pens. I have no medical background, so doing these injections has been nerve-wracking for me, but y'all have been so amazing, which is why I love our community so much. Where you're saying that's the same needle for Botox as well, probably. Or I'm saying this is what a viewer told me, so I'm saying it's probably because that's what the viewer said. And so that was like helpful to know. Like all of these things are helpful to know too. I'm going to go ahead and put my medication back into the refrigerator now. I pulled it down, but I wanted to show you guys. If you are just starting your GLP-1 journey, make sure you join my free encouragement group. Got that listed down below. And some of my favorite things are free resources for you too. I bought with my own money my meal plan. It's dietitian created. I had a dietitian who has her master's degree in nutrition create this. I bought it for $500 so I could own the licensing rights to give it to the Countess of Shopping community for free. It's my gift for you. So like if you watch my videos and things like that, like it's my gift because everyone kept asking. I'm like, okay, well, let me go buy it and give it away for free. It has the meal plan, the shopping list with it, and then also a ton of protein recipes included for you with pictures and how to make the recipes and things like that. All included. That's linked also in the description, linked below too. Click the ... more button and then that will show you everything as well. And then if you do choose to use Join Fridays, use the discount code QUEEN, QUEEN. Do your due diligence though, as always. I love them. I think that they're a great telehealth company and I highly recommend them. I think that we've covered everything. Let me know down below if you have questions. Our question of the day today is, what are you doing today to move you closer to your goal? That's your accountability question. What are you doing today? What are you doing? What are you doing? It's about today's focus. Don't worry about tomorrow, worry about today. What are you doing today? For me, I'm gonna go eat that delicious high protein fish that I have marinating with some vegetables, with a great salad. And then number 2, our emoji today is going to be, I forgot to figure out what our emoji is going to be today. What's our emoji going to be today? Our emoji today is going to be a sunshine. It's going to be a sunshine. A little ball of sunshine. We're going to the emojis tell me, it helps me to get to know you better because I truly do care. If you've watched this far in the video, that must mean you kind of like it. It will give me pattern recognition of your name. And then also as a bonus, I'll pray over you. If you don't believe in prayer, I'll pause and uplift you in positive thought. That to me is important, of having a really positive community, which is why my group is awesome. It's amazing, but only join if you're fun and fabulous. If you are fun and fabulous and you've been caught and not getting approved to be in my free encouragement group, just shoot me an email. My email's in the ... more, the description link below. Shoot me an email. I'll approve you. There's a lot of spammers and I keep that group quality based. That to me is, it's like a part-time job. I work on it 20 hours a week. And I do that because I love our community. You guys are like dear friends, like so much. I don't know why I'm saying like so much. I don't know. Maybe it's the new dress. I've been testing out dresses. You guys asked me to test out dresses. So this is one of the dresses I've been testing. I'll link it down below. I'll link it down below too. Sweet friends, be kind to yourself, be kind to others. I'm Countess of Shopping. Count my blessings because life is delicious. Expect a week-long update unless something happens. But my next compound update will be on how did the whole week go? What was my weight loss as a result of taking it? Like all of it. I'll be doing another deep dive. And I may be doing one before the week is up too. We'll see. We'll see. But for now, I gotta go walk and I gotta go eat my protein. Love you guys. See you guys soon. Bye.